are my eyes and ears. Find them. Together we will punish these creatures. These turtles.
Hey, yo, friends, what's going on? Happy In Madness Monday. This is In Madness Podcast, episode 39. A nice, clean number for you. I'm Shawn the Butcher here with Vertebrae33. How the hell's it going?
Cowabunga, Shawn.
Oh, he's even got
Cowabunga.
that is a gross looking slice of pizza you got there.
You know why? You know why? This slice of pizza is from the sewer, Shawn.
Yes.
We get all our pizza from the sewer. I got lots of questions about the sewer.
Is it covered in ooze?
Of course it is. I'm going to get really big soon and learn a lot of karate.
You know how much I love ooze. Welcome to the premiere podcast, In Madness Pod. We are on the socials, which is how this movie was chosen through a voting poll we did, which we will be doing all throughout the year on the socials at In Madness Pod. Hit us inmadnesspod@gmail.com if you want your email read on the show. We will read it like we did with our holiday special a few episodes back. Make sure you check that out. We are also on YouTube, where once again, you could see Vertebrae's disgusting slice of pizza.
It's a good slice. Come on, look at
you gotta take a picture of it and we'll post it.
That looks bad.
I mean, if it gets warmed up, it'll look good.
It's
right
a
now,
little dark on the back.
It looks like it came out of a book bag right now.
Let's be truthful here. This slice is old, and I kept it just for this episode because you need a prop.
I like that you got props.
Yeah, I need a prop. I'm not going to eat this.
Like, subscribe, comment, give us the 5 stars. Check out the In Madness Spotify playlist. We add a new song pretty much after every single episode. Make sure you tell every single person you know about this show, even your office mate that you sit next to, and you're like, you get like your pet peeves when they like click the mouse too hard, or like they always make some type of like some type of disgusting noise, and you're like, I can't bear to stand next to this person. Tell them about In Madness Pod so you guys can have something in common. Maybe you become best friends through the podcast. You can get yourself a shirt and represent for your boys, inmadness.com. And most importantly, for the new addition to the Vertebrae33 mug and book club. We'll just have the first part though. What mug do you have for this episode?
Yeah, so we're in season 3, by the way, Shawn. Did you realize that?
I like that you tagged it on the socials with season 3, and I'm like, that's really friggin' cool.
Yeah. And I tag them in the episodes when I put them up too, but I don't have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mug, and we'll explain that a little bit later. And Shawn, before I show the mug, Shawn, I'm going to delay this for a second and say, I'm glad you told him the email, because you can direct all hate mail to me after these episodes.
Oh, this
okay?
I can't even imagine the drastic contrast between my take on this movie and yours.
So here's the mug. It's a nice greenish blue speckled mug.
I love it.
Full of sewage water. So I got a sewage water mug, and I'm eating old pizza, but you can see it all now because I got this new lighting system going on.
Vertebrae, you want to tell them what movie we're covering?
1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant. I won't do the whole thing.
Oh, I wish you would. But so, truth be told, Shawn, I don't think I ever saw this movie completely through.
I'm already mad, and I know where this is gonna go, and I'm just gonna keep getting madder. I can't believe how we have such similar takes. We, in our previous episode, we basically admitted that we sort of share a brain. Our brain waves are very similar, and I feel like this is going to be a head-on collision. We are playing chicken, and none of us are going to move.
Here's the thing. This is where the age difference between the two of us shows, because I think this is a heavy nostalgia movie for a lot of people, right? My buddy David that wrote in on the holiday special, huge Turtles fan.
This movie won. It won the poll.
It won the poll. So people loved it, obviously. And they have a lot of nostalgia for it. However, I'm going into watching this with my brain now with
Ah,
not a lot of nostalgia for it,
no, man.
but a lot of nostalgia for what was accomplished, and we'll get into it in the history of the Turtles and what they accomplished with this film and their fandom and people's loyalty to this fandom and people's joy with this. This is the first movie for this podcast that I watched with my daughter.
I love it. It's a
So there you
family-friendly
go.
episode of In Ma and honestly, still I still I still equate it with the darkness of some of the movies that we have already done. So I like that I feel like it fits the vibe, but you can also watch it with your kid.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of laughter, and there was laughter at correct times, and there was probably laughter at points they didn't want us to laugh, her as well. And I have questions. She has a couple questions that we're going to part two
I
of this.
love it. Can you get her to do like a
Part,
voice note or something? You
part
wanna
two of this. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. She's been on before,
Yeah,
right?
if you
One
wanna have
time
her
for
on or
team.
have her do a voice note, we'll answer
Yeah.
her question on the voice note.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was a fun kind of little thing to do because you're not having the young kid join you when you watch The Exorcist.
Or
For
the Nightmare on Elm Street sequel marathon.
But Shawn, this podcast is we found out recently through the holiday special and emails that we get and certain people that talk to us a lot online. It's important to the people who listen to it and they're involved with it. And it's important to us. It's rolled into our lives. We're struggling to figure out when we record. We're discussing it with family members or watching it with them. Like everybody knows in my house what movie we're doing or what we're about to do. And, I got to get this book done or I got to watch this, for the 19th time. So I think that's pretty cool. We put our heart and soul into this podcast. So even if I'm not the biggest fan on something you are or vice versa, that doesn't matter, right? We're going to have fun with it either way.
And since we plan on doing like a voting poll for pretty much every other movie inside baseball. So it'll be like a voting poll where the In Madness family picks, and then the next movie we do will be like a personal one between me and Vertebrae. And before even knowing that this is going to be a head-on collision episode, the first thing I said before we started recording was like, you can pick the next movie we do.
Yeah, I was wondering because we did text a little bit about this movie.
I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know any of your thoughts until we hit record.
No, yeah, exactly. So we didn't really go into it. It was just sort of like a, hey, I don't think I ever saw this movie all the way through, and I think it was Shawn getting a little nervous about what was about to happen.
Oh, I'm
But
ready. I have been ready for this movie. I have been pitching it for like months and months and months.
Mhm.
And again, yeah, it probably is a nostalgia factor, but like I have always been a Turtles fan. I watched the cartoon before school. I had all the toys, like all the toys, which are all gone. I don't know where
Oh,
they
what a
are.
bummer.
It is hard. But I follow the Ninja Turtle toy spots on the socials, and like they always post the old toys, and I'm like, I used to have that like button, like button, like button. I had the Nintendo games. I used to play the arcade game at Metro Mall in Queens, New York. Rest in peace and shout out to the Metro Mall when I was like. This, I think, was before my brother was born. So I had to be 5 years old
Hmm.
playing the game at the Metro Mall. I had the Nintendo games. I had the Super Nintendo games. I had the Ninja Turtles posters in my room. I had the Ninja Turtles bed sheets.
Nice.
But I've never read the comic before, which is the origin of the Turtles.
What? That is crazy.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it?
So that gets us right into based on the comic characters created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. There is a really very cool documentary. It's 10 years old now, but I think it's maybe on Paramount called Turtle Power: The Definitive History of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is a dramatic title to say because the turtles have gone on for the last decade since they made this, so it's nothing definitive about it, but it's very cool to see the beginning. At one point Eastman and Laird had a falling out, and kind of jumped off. Then the Turtles have been sold. I believe Nickelodeon owns them. I think I didn't research that, but they were sold. They're still involved in some way, but it's really for somebody like me, for an artist, this is really like almost a rags to riches story for these guys. They come up with these characters, they scrape money together, they borrow money from one of their uncles to put this book out. And it's kind of on a, it starts as a joke. Eastman just draws a picture of a turtle with nunchucks, and they just go from there, and they create other characters. And it certainly plays off of Batman, and there's a lot of that lends to Batman and Daredevil as well.
Star Wars in the movie.
Yes, absolutely. But they get this book, they print 3,000 of these, they get the money together to print 3,000, and people gravitate towards it. So by issue 2, they're printing 15,000, and then 30,000, and next thing you know, it's like 100,000, and they're selling more than like some Marvel comics, and they quickly open what they call Mirage Studios, and they hire other artists. And Eastman and Laird really don't end up doing a lot of art on these books kind of from that point forward. They kind of get these other guys who are good, and the Mirage Studio sound like a fantastic place to just hang out, and they play games and draw comics, and but and what gets this movie going for them, Shawn, is they hook up with this licensing guy who's really in love with the idea of the Turtles, and he wants to kind of license them, and they're not sure, and now they're being approached by people, but they're not sure. And they get to hook up, with getting some toys made. But to get the toys made, they decide they need to have a cartoon, because this is what they did in the 80s. They would make the cartoon at the same time, so then you would want all of it, right? And they get this cartoon. There's a lot of elements of the cartoon in this movie too. They took from the book. The original comics are much grittier. There's blood, there's weapons to the face and stuff, and they realized to get this to go forward, they've got to kind of clean that up and make it much more
Spielberg it.
Yeah, and so they do this, and this thing spins out of control. Like there's nobody on the face of the earth that has never heard of them and doesn't go like absolutely turtle crazy. There's cereal, there's sneakers, book bags, pencil.
I used to have the watch where you could flip it up, and I had everything Turtles.
Yeah, so this starts, from two guys goofing around, two artists coming up with ideas. To me, that's so awesome, and then they roll into this movie deal. So that this takes place, in 87, right? The cartoon series debuts in 87.
I am 4 years old at this time.
Right. And then the movie comes out 3 years later and just kind of takes everybody by storm. There's a score that was like a compilation of different songs, including MC Hammer's This Is What We Do.
Mm-hmm.
Turtle Power by Partners in Crime with a K.
Sick.
Because why not? And then there was another single, Spin the Wheel by High Tech 3.
Nice.
So I don't know. We maybe put Turtle Power on the
In Madness Spotify playlist. Hell yeah. Anything Turtles related. I mean, I really can't wait till we get to eventually the sequel, Secret of the Ooze, so we can put Ninja Rap from Vanilla Ice on the In Madness Spotify playlist.
Will we get to the sequel?
I can't put it on until we get to the sequel, so I'm just gonna have to hold on the Ninja Rap.
Maybe that's gonna have to be one of those super powered episodes where
sequel, a 0.25 where we just cover it for 20 minutes.
Going in cold, Shawn.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
I gotta know before we get into the movie, right? Because you're a big Turtles fan.
Turtles fan, yeah.
You fall in love with this. You watch the cartoon. You get the toys. You probably little Shawn's got maybe pajamas on with turtles on them. Maybe.
Yo, can I just quickly? My mom bought Turtles toys out of some dude's trunk in front of KB Toys because they were like the rare ones, and we went and we bought turtle toys out of some dude's trunk in the parking lot for probably like $50 a pop for what was probably like a $10 figure.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is
It's awesome.
I was
Man,
turtles crazy.
that's a good mom, Sean.
The
You give her
best,
a hard
the best.
time
So
about
no,
screening out the horror movies and stuff, but
no, but that was the
like
thing. I
that,
had toys
awesome.
galore. There were the house was full of toys and video games. So
That's
yeah, I was a
fantastic.
spoiled child.
I I love it. So, we set the scene. Little Sean is in his J's, eating his turtle cereal, singing the song, running around the house. Who is your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Come on. So I want you to guess. Who do you think my favorite Ninja Turtle is?
I don't know. I don't know them that well, so
So, so
Raphael.
well, according to the song,
Uh-huh.
Leonardo leads,
Right.
Donatello does machines,
Mhm.
Raphael is cool but rude,
Mhm.
but Michelangelo, he's a party dude.
You think that's you?
I like to think I've based my entire life off Michelangelo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I probably am more of Raphael when it comes to being a pain in
Temp
the ass
I was
sometimes.
thinking temperament. I picked
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
temperament as
yeah,
yours.
and that's why Splinter's speech to Raphael just breaks me wide open every single time.
So who would I be to you, Sean? Who do you think I
You, I feel like, would probably be more I feel like you're more of a Leonardo.
Okay.
Because he is very disciplined, and I feel like you are very disciplined as well. Like,
Yeah, as an adult, but,
yeah.
like, as a kid, I was an idiot,
I
but yes.
I never knew you as a kid. I never knew you as a kid.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that then. That's a compliment, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because
Alright.
Donatello, like, I don't know, I feel like he's just all about, like, electronics, and I feel like we both struggle with electronics.
We definitely struggle with, artificial intelligence, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I feel like you're more of a Leonardo. Yeah, I'm definitely a Michelangelo dude, and now that I'm thinking of it, I'm pretty sure I had Michelangelo pajamas.
nice. Wow, that's awesome. You have any pictures of you with turtle
I
stuff when you were a
mean,
kid?
if I have to go through Mom Duke's, like phone book
Yeah,
thick
because maybe we could post a photo of you with
picture
some turtle
books.
stuff when you
Yeah,
were a kid. That'd
I
be
mean, I
awesome.
wish, I wish. Yeah, I can look, but that's a deep dive.
Maybe that's depressing for you because it'll have all the turtle stuff that you don't have anymore.
All gone. It's all gone.
Do you own any Turtles merchandise now as an
No,
adult?
I'm looking around at my room right now, and it's disgusting me that I'm thinking about it now. The
Mhm.
nostalgia is bringing me back that I had everything, and now I'm looking around and I have literally no, I do. It's in the back corner. Yes, I do. I have Shredder,
Oh, nice.
and I have Shredder from this movie, and then I have Super Shredder from eventually when we get to the sequel, Secret of the Ooze.
So maybe on the next episode, you can take them out and show them to
Well,
everybody.
yeah, well, and I'm gonna definitely post them on the In Madness socials. Yes, thank
Okay.
both from NECA. Shout outs to NECA Toys for putting out the dopest Ninja Turtle stuff.
All right. You ready,
I'm
Sean,
ready
to
already.
dive
So we
into
dipping into the
this?
movie. Okay, so the movie begins. We are in New York City. There is a goddamn crime wave. There's a woman on the news talking about how things are getting worse. There's a man reading a newspaper. He gets his wallet stolen. It's passed around from person to person till it ends up with this redhead kid with a Sid Vicious shirt on. We see a hand with this cool ninja gear. It almost looks like the arm of a Guar character or like a
Mhm.
creature from the Black Lagoon. And the redhead kid hands the wallet off to the hand. Woman on
And
TV says, "Yep, go ahead."
I was gonna say it starts out with a New Line Cinema logo, which is just like that time period is like you almost like see that logo and know you're gonna get a movie that you're like gonna fall in love with, right? That's such a big deal for movies at the time. It's funny, we see the kids stealing, the kid empties a truck in like what, like 4 seconds or kids? How is that possible, Sean? How is this possible?
It's the '90s, baby.
How are these kids so what I want to know is how they're so skilled.
Well,
They were training.
they're
They were training,
practicing
right?
the art of the ninja.
Yeah, yeah, and then nobody noticed that nobody noticed that these kids weren't around all this time?
Well, it's a
That's
crime
crazy.
wave. It's a crime wave.
It
There's
is
no
a crime
control.
wave.
There's no control
Yeah.
of these kids.
And it seems like the perfect crime, right? You just have kids wandering around and
I mean, I feel like
stealing stuff for you.
this was New York City in the 80s. Not maybe not in the 90s, but yeah, definitely in like the
Well,
80s and
maybe now.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe now.
The woman on TV says everything is being stolen. Nothing seems to be getting done about it. This dude is dropping off the truck. It's filled with stuff. He walks away for like zero 0.8 seconds to get papers signed, and he comes back. The truck is totally empty. There's a van
Mhm.
parked in an alley. Mario's diaper service, I'm pretty sure it says. We see a
Mm.
bunch of hoodlum kids handing off all this stolen gear to ninjas dressed in black in the back of the van. It's late at night. All the kids are sneaking off to the hideout, which looks like it's on like Randall's Island or Governor's Island or something. I feel like I've seen that brick structure somewhere when I've
Oh,
been.
maybe that's where they filmed it.
Inside the hideout, there's a bunch of kids, stolen gear. There's this big, mean, bald ninja dude walking around telling everyone that they've done good.
Mm.
We see the redhead kid again. He's eating a Whopper with his Burger King drink. Place label out for that prime time product placement.
This movie is chock full of product placements. They're all over the place. They knew exactly what they were doing.
He opens a box, finds a Walkman that plays
Mhm.
cassette tapes, children, and that becomes his now.
Did you have a Sony Walkman?
Did I have a Sony Walkman? My Walkman did the auto flip, so I didn't even have to take the tape out.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually owned a Sony Walkman. I
I don't
definitely
know if
had
it was
a
Sony. I don't know if it
yeah.
was Sony.
No, the Walkman was like that was like a prestige item if you actually had the brand, the Sony Walkman. I
I remember
had
mine
one.
was like the size of a brick. Like I couldn't even fit it in my pocket when I had it. But then there was a smaller one later on, and maybe that was a Sony. Fuck, I wish. Could you imagine? What did I do with my Walkman? What did I do with it? Did I like throw it away? Like what an idiot. What an
Do you still have cassettes? I still have a lot of
I still
cassettes.
have my cassettes, but I do not like I can't even imagine what I did with my goddamn cassette player. I have a stereo that has a cassette deck in it, but like I was
Uh-huh.
killed to have my Walkman. And dude, I had the popcorn tins, the Christmas popcorn tins.
Yeah.
I had one of them filled with like cassette mixtapes and radio shows that I would make when I was like in the 6th grade.
What?
Dude, and gone, all of it. I have no idea where it is. I
They
have
didn't get
no idea
buttery?
they didn't get what?
They didn't get buttery being in that old popcorn tin?
No. So yeah, maybe I cleaned it out or whatever. Yeah, I had a
Was it the
whole
one? All right, this is totally going off
yeah,
track.
go ahead, go
But
ahead.
is it the popcorn tin? So sometimes they have it where it's in a bag inside a tin. Sometimes they have it with the cardboard divider where you'll have like
Yeah,
the
that's what it
three
was.
different
100%.
flavors.
Yeah.
It's like cheese, caramel, or
Well,
butter.
yeah,
What are your favorites of those three in
cheddar.
those?
I do cheddar cheese.
You'll eat all three flavors though, right?
No, I don't like caramel.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I don't
What
like
about
the
like Cracker
popcorn.
Jacks?
No, I'm not a Cracker Jacks dude. No,
No.
no, not my bag.
Hmm.
Not my bag. I like
Okay.
chocolate. I'm a chocolate. I like my sweets in chocolate form.
So,
Yeah.
like, if you had that tin and you got the three sections, you could share with somebody, and they could have the
Yes,
other
you can
caramel.
have I like half the butter as long as it's salty, and then you can have
Right.
all the caramel, but the cheddar is all mine. But that whole thing of tapes gone, and like
Oh
I would
man.
just like everything. So whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't have my Walkman. The woman on TV says the cops are having a tough time with the crime wave. She says she's stunned by the silence of City Hall. This is April O'Neil. Oh shit. Of Channel
Mm.
3 Eyewitness News signing off.
You know what she says too? She says, "Who you gonna call?" Yeah. And it's Ghostbusters comes out in '84, so that's 6 years before this. But it's definitely kind of in people's brains and in society at the same time. They do a few of these little like pop culture
I mean,
movie references in
so
here.
Ghostbusters was in New York too. Like,
Right.
do you think these worlds are
Wait a
do
second.
you think these are
Maybe.
the same worlds?
Huh. So, wait, Shawn, you're blowing my mind. So we've got this container of this green ooze that we're going to find out about, right? Is that something left over from like when the containment unit is that like some Slimer ooze or something that makes the turtles?
I like where you're going with all of this.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, a tie-in with the two of them, like Egon coming along and figuring all this out, would be fantastic. Okay.
There's a part coming up soon where like something happens and it's a huge thing, but it's like, they just play it off like it's no huge thing because probably from what they've experienced from Ghostbusters 6 years ago.
So we're doing this. This is in the same
I'm
universe,
I'm rolling with
timeline.
it. Right now
Okay.
it's blowing everybody's mind, it's blowing mine, so let's run with it.
Okay. So
It
everybody in New York City in this film is living in a post
Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters
world.
world.
Yeah.
That also explains why they're not necessarily so freaked out by giant green turtles running around.
But they're punkers.
I mean, yeah, we'll get to that.
April leaves the news station, and when you know it, she gets robbed. But as she does, a weapon hits a light in the alley. It turns everything black. We hear a ruckus, and the scene gets lit up by a cop car. We see the kids who tried robbing April all tied up. We got ourselves some vigilante justice.
Mm.
We see the sewer cab lift up, and we see a turtle. Raphael, he's looking at his sai, his weapon that he threw at the light. But April finds it first. He watches her pick it up. She puts it in her bag. The cops take away the bad guys, and Raph goes, damn.
Did you ever have any like ninja weapons, Shawn?
I 100% had like nunchucks. I guarantee, like not like plastic Michelangelo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle brand from Toys R Us. None. Like I guarantee. Like I almost remember it now that we're talking about it. I can't physically say I had it, but like I feel like I had to have. Cut to the sewer. It's dark. It's eerie. All these dripping pipes. It honestly looks like parts of the Nostromo or something out of an alien movie.
Yeah, and then when they run through this sewer scene, you'll see where it says like it's a Steve Barron film. And we didn't say, I should have said that in the beginning. Directed by Steve Barron, written by Todd W. Langen and Bobby Herbeck from a story from Bobby Herbeck. So they adapt this here. And in this scene to the right in the water, in the sewage water, you see a Noid. Remember the Noid, which was like the Domino's pizza character, and we're going to get a lot of Domino's. Yeah. Well, we're getting Domino's very soon, very prominent in this. So it's kind of in the water. So we get that little Noid character in the water, which is a cool little bit there. But that makes me think, okay, quick tangent. These guys must stink, Shawn.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, they're already turtles, right? Turtles already have like an odd smell to them. Now they live in the sewer with a rat. Like gross.
Yeah, there's no way they smell good.
And then like I thought to myself, where did they get these weapons from?
They look don't I mean yeah, well yeah. Well, I mean
stole them?
Yeah. Maybe they made them. I don't know.
They made them? They're down there forging?
Maybe people threw them out. People threw them in the sewer, Splinter recovered them, and then made them ninjas.
Where did they get money?
They don't need money. That's why they live in the sewer.
No, they paid for the pizza.
Well, I'm sure there's lots of money floating around in the sewer.
Oh, you think they're using sewer money?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Okay.
Probably. Yeah, unless that's funny. Unless instead of the kids robbing April when the Ninja Turtles were beating up the kids and tying them up, instead they just robbed April.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about this, April, but we need a coat because we don't really have any.
I'm gonna take this 10 spot off you so I could buy some pizza later.
Yeah. Also, in the comics, it's awesome that they have those like bandanas that go across the eyes and you can see the eyes through them. I don't get it in live action though. I'm confused by that.
You're telling me you are not blown away by these practical effects?
I mean, they're fun, and there's Jim Henson effects in this film, which are cool. There are some effects later on that are a little bit of a laugh out loud moment. But I like making practical effects. I think, well, we'll get to it in a second. I want to tell you something I thought was very cool.
The Turtles are celebrating their victory. Dudes and dudettes, Major League Butt Kicking is back in town. And across the screen, we get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love it. So sick. Leonardo jumps into frame. He goes, awesome. Michelangelo goes, righteous. Donatello, voiced by Corey Feldman, says, bossa nova. And Mike and Leo stop in their tracks. Bossa nova? And then Donnie thinks for a second and he goes, excellent. And they all start celebrating.
Nice. Bossa Nova is a relaxed style of samba music. So I don't know what he was making that reference for, but there you go.
Raph is lagging behind. He is bummed about his missing Psy. The practical effects, the suits, the realness, the expressions, the movements, the dialogue, to me, it fits together perfectly. I 100% believe I'm watching actual grown-up turtles. This is a billion times better than watching CGI. This is a million times better than CGI, in my humble opinion.
This film is a million times better than CGI.
I feel like the practical effects are better than the new turtle movies that are coming out that are all CGI, and I'm like, meh. I'd rather.
I've not seen any of them.
Yeah, I've seen clips of them, and I'm like, this sucks. I want my guys in the suits. It's like Godzilla. I want, like, the CGI is great, but like, give me a suit guy back.
Yeah, it adds charm to it, I guess. Right?
I'm very charmed by it. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially for all the tears that are shed in these first 45 minutes of this movie. Wait till the last 45 minutes.
Oh, my.
The Turtles enter their lair. We see Splinter, their leader, drinking tea. The Turtles surround him and tell them they just fought their first battle and they fought well. And they also robbed April for $10. Splinter asks if they were seen. They say no. He's like, you better not ever be, because humans will not be able to comprehend what the hell they are looking at. So stay in the shadows. You must never be seen and always vanish without a trace. This statement matters for literally from the moment he says it till the moment he ends it. Right after that, none of anything that he just said matters, because they are immediately seen by everybody, and Splinter immediately tells their tale to the first person that he sees.
Yeah, right away. Just he has no. Every comic movie does this, though. They always have, like, somebody reveals themselves, right? Every Batman movie, it's like, hey, don't tell anybody, but I'm Batman, Bruce Wayne. Don't tell anyone I'm Clark Kent, I'm Superman. They'll do stuff that they don't do in like 100 issues of the comic. They'll do it like right away. Also, too, I wrote in my notes, like, why so serious, Splinter? Like, he's just grumpy. I love him. I want to tell you that's my favorite effect of the entire movie is Big Splinter. Little Splinter we'll talk about later, but Big Splinter just looks so cool. He looks sort of like a Dark Crystal character in some ways. I think he's pretty cool. I'm wondering what their mission is at all.
Vigilante justice, fight crime. There's a crime wave in the city. They got to stop this shit.
So that's what he's training them for, is to stop this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
He talks an awful lot about when he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that you're like, I'm 100% guaranteed that he's gone at the end of this movie, because he just keeps saying it every chance he gets. He'll tell anyone their origin story, and he'll be like, "Oh, that's it. I'm dead." But I love it. I think he's very cool. He was definitely charmed me. My daughter was into him as well.
That's who you are. You're Splinter. You're not Leonardo.
I'm sitting around all serious with the mug. Shawn comes home partying. Like, what are you doing? Come on, Shawn. We got things to do.
You're not Leonardo. You're Splinter. The stunning realization that just hit me.
Oh, I'd be down with that.
You
got all these random facts.
You're wise, and again, he's the composed, like, and like Leonardo, I feel takes the most from Splinter. So I feel like Leonardo's the closest to Splinter, but you're definitely Splinter.
Yeah, I think next time we hang out, I'm just gonna like spout facts off to people, all serious in the corner and stuff,
and then talk about when you're gone.
Yeah. But in my case, it'll be when I leave in 5 minutes and not tell anybody.
Yeah. When he vanishes like a ghost. Immediately, Raph gets pissed off, admits he lost his Psy. Splinter's like, then it's gone, but Raph insists he can get it back. Splinter tells them their skills are at their peak. They have one more important lesson to learn, but it must wait. Michelangelo's off in the corner. He's off at a payphone ordering a pizza till Splinter throws a book at him. He tells him one day he will be gone.
No, stop threatening us, Splinter. Come on. Also, how do they have a working payphone?
It's a payphone. It's in the sewer. It's out
in
of
the
commission.
sewer. There's always payphones in the sewer.
Payphones in the sewer. They can.
Could you imagine, like, you work in for the city in the sewer, and like this is like the late 80s, early 90s, and like you're like gonna be home late for dinner, so you got to make a call, but like you don't have a dime. It was a dime then, right? So you don't have a dime to make a phone call because you're in a sewer. Yeah, that was a weird one. I didn't see him put any coins in. Maybe they rigged it up. That's what I'm going to say. They're so smart. They use their ninja skills.
Donatello is very good with that sort of thing. I bet Donatello hooked that up.
Right, with the tech. Yeah, just like how the Gremlins could make all that stuff and the little like chainsaw and everything. They were able to do this.
The little
there you go.
Chainsaw. He says one day he'll be gone. Use his teachings wisely. He suggests they meditate, but Mike and Donatello have a better idea. They all dance to tequila. Raph puts on a top hat and overcoat, says he's going out to a movie.
Yeah, they're acting like goofy teenagers. The guy in the phone who called for the pizza again, Shawn?
Michelangelo, of course.
Michelangelo called for the pizza, of course. Yeah, of course. And then he's threatening the guy about anchovies. Like, have you put anchovies on it? But like, if you don't order it with anchovies, why would they put anchovies? I think he just wanted to mess with the pizza guy. They mess with him later on too, right? It's not the same person. But this got me thinking, so how long will the Turtles be teenagers?
I mean, as long as Bart and Lisa Simpson are children.
Yeah,
40
I guess so,
years.
right?
Yeah.
So turtles' lifespan, depending on the species, they can live anywhere from 10 to 150 years. Most turtles live on average to be 50 years old. So I didn't look it up, but I wonder what a rat's lifespan is, right?
Especially in New York City.
Yeah, it seems like it's got to be shorter. Also, too, that whole pizza rat thing that time, there had to be a Turtles connection to that.
That's people were making the Turtles connection when that happened. Yes,
yeah. But yeah, we need Splinter to relax a little bit and enjoy himself a little more.
I'm telling you, Vertebrae, that's what I tell you all the time. Come out to the show. Come out, hang out to the show. We're gonna party. We get one of my favorite scenes ever. Donatello skate the sewer. Happens upon Mikey sitting there chewing a popsicle stick. They look at the full moon. Donnie says, "Nice night." Mike replies, "Pizza dude's got 30 seconds." Donnie gets sentimental, asks Mike what Splinter was talking about, if he ever thinks about what it would be like to not have Splinter around. Mikey thinks for a second. Time's up. $3 off. Up pulls the dominoes dude. He's looking for 122 and an eighth. Of course, he can't find it. Below him in the sewer, Mikey says, "You're standing on it, dude." The pizza guy jumps away shocked. Mikey slips out the 10 that he probably stole out of April's purse. He says, "Take this." Pizza guy's like, "But it's 13. Mike says, "You're 2 minutes late, dude. Wise man say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza."
So
classic line.
These stinky little green guys don't even tip for pizza. He didn't tip them. He gave him a 10 for a $13 pizza, $3 off, but he still didn't give him a tip.
Bad tippers, these turtles.
What kind of vigilantes are these guys? They're not helping society. They're picking on the Domino's guy.
But they are typical teenagers.
Yeah, but you know what, Shawn? Anyone outside of New York maybe doesn't know this, but like Domino's pizza is awful.
It is the lowest grade of pizza that you I mean, yeah, it's getting better, but yeah, there's so many.
I think it's it's hard to call it pizza.
It's what you eat at 1 a.m. when you're shithouse drunk.
I'd rather eat this old slice I have in front of me than that. But yeah, it's funny, right? You do run into people because in New York, and if you're listening other places and you come to New York, you could throw a rock and hit good pizza. There's just good pizza like all over the place. There's hole in the wall places, and you just go in and the pizza's fantastic. But other parts of the country, not so much, and they end up going to Domino's. So
And also for
cheap.
anybody outside of New York, and as someone who's formerly delivered pizza, tippers usually suck. Usually people will be like, keep the 50 cents. It is like that. It is. I'll be 13 and now somebody will hand me a 10 or whatever, or like 13.50.
Well, see, the turtles are adding to it, Shawn.
Yeah, they are. They're adding to the problem, but it's a teenage thing. I'll blame it on the teenage part of them, not the Mutant Ninja Turtle part of them. Raph walks out of Critters. I love that he went to see a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's appalled by it. Ugh, where do they come up with this stuff? As he's a turtle dressed in an overcoat. We see a lady outside Central Park. She gets her purse snatched. Raph trips the thief, throws the lady back her purse, then shows the thief his sigh and goes, and the kid runs off.
Yeah, Critters was a New Line Cinema film too, released in 1986.
Sick.
So it's weird that they would have it in here 4 years later, but honestly, like it probably wasn't on VHS. They didn't come out right away on VHS. So it probably didn't come out on VHS until 88 or 89 maybe. So they're just kind of promoting another movie that they have.
And out walks Casey Jones, our Jason Voorhees type character with the hockey mask and assortment of sports weapons to beat people up with. He calls him purse snatch and pukes and proceeds to beat the crap out of him while making sports one-liners. 2 minutes for slashing and whatnot.
Yeah, this is this actor Elias Koteas, who's been in like a million things. So he was in the Turtles, he was in Crash, Thin Red Line, Collateral, Zodiac, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Shutter Island. He's got that face, like you recognize him. He's been in a million other like TV shows as well. And in this he's the wisecracking sports guy, Casey Jones, who wasn't introduced, by the way, right away in the books. He didn't come in for like, so they obviously they got to make changes from the comics. So first issue of the comics, our big bad is killed at the end of the first issue. And I'm not revealing the big bad if you haven't seen it yet, but they kill him, and they asked why, and they were like, well, we didn't know if they could, right? They're just making this. They don't know if they could make another issue, so they just do that. And they introduce Casey Jones later on, and he's like the sports guy, and he's got the bag on him with a hockey stick and a baseball bat and a golf club and all that. But yeah, I have a lot of questions about him too, but I'll ask those later.
Well, Raph's got some one-liners of his own because he pushes Casey and says, how about 5 minutes for misconduct and roughing, pal? Casey tells Raph he's going to teach these kids a lesson, and Raph's like, no, you're not. The kids run off. Casey wants to fight Raph. Raph doesn't want to fight. Casey starts swinging. Raph catches back, gives us another classic line. A Jose Canseco bat? Tell me you didn't pay money for this.
A little dig at Jose Canseco there. Also, I say this with all due respect to Casey Jones. What is he on to not realize that that's a giant turtle with 3 fingers and like these giant, like what is going on?
I wanted to bring this point up when you brought this point up because I was waiting for you to bring this point up. In one of my favorite comic books ever, The Max, there are these little creatures called the Is. And the Is come from like the Outback, which is like this place in the Max's mind. But when they cross over to the real world, they turn color or whatever. But the way that Mr. Gon, who is the big bad in the Max, disguises these Ises, he even says it in the comic. He's like, turns out if you throw a top hat and a coat on them, they end up looking like regular people. and throughout the thing, he dresses him up like grannies, and like you see them as Ises who look like grannies, but people see them as grannies.
Right.
So I figured this also lives sort of in the Max world where Raphael could throw an overcoat and a top hat on, and he looks like a punk rocker with green makeup on.
Except we blow that out of the water in about a minute.
Well, I mean, so Casey knocks
Yeah, it
Raph
would
down, he
kill it.
knocks his hat off, and now
Wait,
without
hold on,
yeah,
Sean. You
go ahead.
mentioned the Max.
Yeah,
Max
yeah.
is an Image comic that came out in the 90s by Sam Keith, and incredible artwork. It also was animated for a period of time. Sam Keith.
My favorite show of all time
Oh,
is
wow.
the animated Max from MTV's Oddities. I have it on DVD. I found it at like some off-brand Comic-Con thing. It is my favorite show of all time. The Max is the greatest
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah, and I think I have all the original Mac. I bought all the originals like as they came out because I was very much on the Image Comics thing as soon as it started. So I have a lot of issues of the Max. In the beginning, Sam Keith, famously known before that for drawing the Hulk. Was it the Hulk? Maybe that was Dale Keown. But anyway, he had been around for a little while in the comics. Dale Keown did the Pit, which was another kind of beastie type comic. But Sam Keith's The Max was very artsy, very strange. Love the drawing style. If you've never seen it, check it out. We can post some pictures. Maybe I'll pull some issues and put them up for people to see as well. Maybe we need to do an episode where we dive into some of these old things like this from these 90s Image comics and some of these stories. But yeah, maybe that's the case, except Sean, your theory gets blown out of the water right now.
So Casey knocks down Raph, he knocks his hat off, and now without his hat, Casey can see something's off about this guy.
Uh-huh.
He asks if Raph is a punker because Casey
Mm.
hates punkers, especially ones that are bald with
Mhm.
green makeup. So maybe he just thinks that Raphael, this grown teenage mutant ninja turtle, is a bald punk rocker with green makeup on.
Yeah, except when a shell
Well, he's got the jacket on.
and only 3 giant fingers.
Well, he's not looking at his fingers. He's just looking at his face.
Casey Jones is on something. That's what I'm saying for sure.
It is New York City in the 90s. It's not an out of
Yeah.
this world thought to
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey takes out his cricket bat. He whacks Raph with it, knocks his ass into a garbage can, says, "So long, freak. I got work to do." And Raph's like, "Freak! Freak!" And he chases after him.
Mm.
This is where I think we're in the post Ghostbusters world because Raph gets hit by a cab, flips over the hood. The man in the cab's like, "What the hell was that?" And the cabbie's like, "Big turtle in a trench coat. You going to LaGuardia?"
Yeah.
Like, no big deal. Welcome to New York. Shit like this happens all the time. We just had Ghostbusters here a couple years ago.
Also, 2 things. One, he identified it correctly.
Yeah.
So the trench coat and the hat didn't help Sean because he could identify it correctly. But also he says toidle. He says big toidle, which is like I was cracking up when I heard it. Yes, it's an accent that you hear a lot, but that accent was heavy in most recently in the Penguin series, kind of the way he spoke in the Penguin series. But I was cracking up. Yeah, we'll go to LaGuardia. So reference to LaGuardia Airport, which is JFK, LaGuardia. I guess LaGuardia takes the most heat for being the kind of the scrubbiest airport of the two, although they've cleaned it up a lot. And the Delta terminal is very, very nice at LaGuardia. But there's your New York reference for people outside New York.
Raph loses Casey. We see a view over Manhattan once again. Raph screams, "Damn!"
Mm.
Raph sneaks into the lair defeated, but he gets busted by Splinter. Splinter tells him his master Yoshi's first rule was possess the right thinking so you can receive the gifts of strength and knowledge and peace. He tries to channel Raph's anger, but more remains. Anger clouds the mind. Turned inward, it's an unconquerable enemy. You're unique among your brothers. You choose to face this enemy alone. As you face it, do not forget them and do not forget me. I am here, my son. Not a dry eye in the house. The whole theater's in tears. Tissues everywhere. People's noses sniffling all throughout the world.
Sean, so you said earlier, like I was Splinter. I feel like I should memorize this speech. And years from now, my daughter comes home late and I'm just sitting in the dark with this candle burning because that's what he is. It's just a dad waiting for his son to return home. but also like relax, Splinter. Once again, you got to chill out a little bit. Everything shouldn't be a dramatic speech. It's a fantastic speech. And then he mentions like when he's not around again. So we've seen him twice. And both times he's just like, listen, man, you better get this together. Like, I'm not going to be around anymore,
Well,
you
he's
know?
just old as dirt. He just knows that any second he's gonna
How
go.
old could he be? He's not that old.
I mean, he's a mutant, so I figure he's like 100 years old. I figure he's just like living way past his expectancy, and he's just
Well,
like any minute now.
that wouldn't work out for the timing of the connection
Yeah,
to his master and the big bad, right?
yeah, yeah.
Math wise, that's probably like 10 years went by maybe or something. So I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely, and I love his speech. I think he's cool. I think he's the coolest effect and character in this movie. I think he looks
Wrong,
much more realistic
wrong.
and cool to me. To
I
me.
disagree.
Yeah, I know you might have a different opinion, but I think he's very, very cool looking.
The next morning, April's getting badgered by her boss at her house. He
Mm-hmm.
wants to know when one of his best reporters has been mugged. She insists she's fine. In her kitchen, we see the redhead kid from the beginning who was stealing the wallet. Hey, Danny, how's school? He says, fine. April's boss, Danny's dad, isn't thrilled because he's got to drive Danny to school because he keeps cutting class.
Mm-hmm.
Danny throws on his headphones. Dad wonders where the hell he got those things from anyway. Danny spots some money sticking out of April's wallet, so he steals it.
Yeah,
Just
you
like
know what's
Michelangelo.
yeah, exactly. You know what's funny is like this guy, her boss. I think they should have made him like meaner because it feels weird. Like he does feel a little disconnected to his son, but he's not like really like he's dropping him off at school and he's not just like I'm done with you type thing. Like I think it would have helped if they made him. I think if they made this now, they would double down on him being just like an awful
More
human
of an
being.
80s dad, yeah.
Yeah, like he's just kind of there, and Danny seems in a lot of cases to be troubled for like no reason. You know,
Like
there's no
he's
like
like your typical like Nirvana listener.
yeah, he's no what? You don't like Nirvana, Sean?
No, I'm saying like you're
Oh,
that was me. I was like I was the same
you were
way.
just angry and troubled just to
My
be.
mom would always hear my music and be like, "I don't know why you listen to this shit like that talks about your life being miserable." She's like, "You have a great fucking." She would always say like, "You have a
Yeah,
great life. I don't know why you're listening to this life is miserable music."
right. He's just being a teenager in this case. But maybe he's being a teenager and he's feeling angry about his life and his dad not understanding. And now there's this cool crew to hang out with. They're going to steal a bunch of stuff, and they got like a fort. They got a whole hangout place to go and play video games and be part of something. You know, maybe this deals with kids not being able to connect with other kids. Now you're part of this like group.
I love Nirvana. Nevermind was the first CD I ever owned in the 6th grade.
Oh, I think we have to put a Nirvana song on the
We'll get
in
there. We'll
Madness
get there.
Spotify. We
April
have
wants
one on there already.
which one do we have on there?
We have from the Batman.
Oh, yeah, Something in the Way. Also from
Mhm,
the end of the Nevermind album.
mhm.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, that's a great one. That's a great one. April wants to lay the hammer down on the police for not doing enough about the crime wave, but her boss is like, chill out. The mayor's breathing down my neck.
Mm,
April immediately goes and gives the chief of police a hard time as she's doing an interview with him. The turtles are in their lair watching April. They recognize her from when they saved her last night
mhm,
and took a couple bucks out of her wallet. Mikey kisses the TV and says he's in love.
mm.
April asks the chief what he knows about the Foot Clan. Cut to a dark room with lots of TVs, and we see it. His giant shining helmet. My nominee for the In Madness Villain Hall of Fame. One of my favorites of all time, Shredder.
You know, Sean, I'll admit this to you right now. Before viewing this movie under the In Madness lens, I would often confuse the name Shredder and the name Splinter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be able to tell you which one was with the
Mm-hmm.
turtles.
Mm-hmm.
There was a rat, but I got confused. So I apologize
I
for
think I
that.
used to do the same thing as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So my brain operates just like yours when you were a little kid.
April says, "Are you denying the foot exists?" Shredder throws a knife at her face on the TV, turns around and says, "Find her. Silence her." He is so goddamn cool and creepy. Everything about him, I feel like, is perfect villain material. Raph is watching April on TV and is gripping his sai. He throws on his top hat. Looks like he's going to go find her and get his other sai back. Back at the police station, we see two cops bringing in Danny in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Chief's yelling at April about the Foot Clan, how it's just something that was made up years ago in Japan. He screams at her until she leaves. Raph's outside Police Plaza in his disguise, his good disguise. He's reading a newspaper in front of his face. He's got his top hat and his jacket on.
That'll work.
He's got his book bag, so it looks like his shell looks like it's taking up a little more space. He follows April into the subway. She's approached by the Foot Clan, 5 men, black ninja outfits. One slaps her in the face. She pulls out the sai. They knock it out of her hand. They knock her out. And we see Raph slowly retrieve his missing sai.
What's over their eyes? What
like
is that?
the netting.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's
it kind of like
Clan.
bubbles out like a fly or something.
Yeah.
Why have anything over the eyes?
Because it just looks like it's like a fly's eye. It's pretty cool.
It does kind of look like a fly.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Raph jumps out, whoops all their asses, picks up April, vanishes into the subway, and the Foot Clan follow him. Turtles are shocked Raph brought her back to the lair. So is Splinter, but Mike wants to keep her. But then we see the Foot watching them. Their spot is totally blown. So immediately, so much for staying invisible, like Splinter said.
Yeah, they're going to break all their rules. And Splinter's about to break another one.
Splinter wakes up April. First thing she sees is this giant rat and all these turtles. She's screaming, they're screaming. April thinks she's dead. Splinter tells her, sit down, calm down. She can't believe he can talk. He says, I'll tell you all about us, Miss O'Neill. She can't believe he knows her name. Tells her they've lived there for 15 years. Before then, Splinter was a pet of his master Yoshi. Splinter learned the secret art of ninja by watching his master. When they were forced to come to New York. This is all very plausible. Parrots can learn how to speak from their master. They were forced to come to New York. Little Splinter had no home. Stop laughing. This is very serious. Splinter ended up in the sewers looking for food. One day he found a shattered glass jar with 4 baby turtles. They were crawling around in this strange glowing ooze. You know how much I love ooze. Splinter gathered them up, and the next day they doubled in size. Splinter also seemed to grow because of this ooze, and he was shocked when one of the turtles spoke their very first word. Vertebrae, do you know what it is?
Pizza. Their first word is pizza.
Splinter then trained the turtles everything he had picked up from his master. He gave them all names: Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael.
He gave them all names, but no pants. I tell you this scene. So like I love Splinter, but like he as a character right away he just gives up everything. Like first person they brought presumably to the lair. Now he's seen her on TV, so he knows she's trying to do good. Right? She's on this mission to expose what's going on in the city. So maybe he feels like this is a good sort of beacon for them. Maybe it's a way for them to get their message across. Maybe she won't report on them because right in like Batman and stuff, there's always sightings, and then in Hellboy, you're going to be exposed, and so that maybe has it. So he wants to tell her a little something, but he doesn't tell her a little something. He tells her absolutely everything. Then we see the most ridiculous Splinter puppet, this little rat puppet, kind of operating there, and then we cut to like real turtles walking around in the. in the ooze, and then we go forward to these bizarre baby turtles. These things are odd. They look very like Dinosaurs, the TV show, kind of, right? Very Henson-y, very like it could have been on the Muppets. And then, you know, sort of the coup de grace of this moment is that their first word is pizza. And I just think it's so, that was a moment where my daughter and I just started laughing out loud. Like, it wasn't Splinter, it wasn't Dad, it wasn't anything. How do they even know pizza?
You love explainy bits, and Splinter gave them all to you. So
He
gave
gave
you
them all
exactly what you
right
wanted
away.
on a
He
silver
gives them
platter. You were
he gives
supposed to
them to
enjoy
us
that.
like 3 more times. He gives explainy bits. I love it. He's yes, I guess I am Splinter. I guess I am.
They take April back to the surface. She invites the turtles up to her place where she lives above an antique shop. It says all she has to offer is some frozen pizza. So they all freak out.
Mm-hmm.
They're all having a great time in April's place. Mikey's doing his best Rocky impression. Everyone's cracking up, but Leo knows not to overstay their welcome, and they all bail. That's when you're like, Leonardo, I gotta go. I'm getting out of here. Bye.
I'm out of here. But she's got these 4 stinky giant turtles in her
Stinking
apartment.
up her place. The turtles return to their lair. It's broken into. It's all busted up, and inside, Splinter is gone. Raph screams in an absolute fit of rage, and we get this great shot of a man walking above the sewer, and he looks down frightened and shakes his head in disapproval, like, what in God's name is down there?
Also, like, Splinter's told us a few times already, like, hey, when I'm not around. And then, like, suddenly he's not around. So me having never really seen this movie
He's in on it.
in its entirety. No, I was like, oh man, this rat is dying. Like, they're gonna kill him off. Maybe it'll bring him back, but like they're gonna kill him off in this movie because that's what it seemed like they were headed towards. And multiple times does it seem like they're headed towards that. When we get to part 2, there's a part where like I was 100% convinced that he was dead, but nope. I think he's just, it's like just an old man who just complains about, well, when I'm dead, you'll see, that type of thing. Yeah.
The turtles return to April's place. They're depressed by Splinter's disappearance. The police chief calls April's boss to let him know that his son Danny has been arrested. April's boss shows up to her house again with Danny. The turtles freak out and hide. Her boss tells her to drop the story she's been covering. She gets pissed, and Danny, looking into a mirror, spots Michelangelo behind him under a table, but he turns around, and because of Mikey's ninja-like quickness, he's gone.
Yeah.
Why is April's boss constantly at her house? Could you imagine your boss just knocking on your door like, get the fuck out of here, send me an email or write me or save it for a phone call or something?
Yeah, there's a weird connection there. And I mean, listen, the news business is certainly different than every business is a little bit different, but the going right to her house, the first time it's at least like, hey, maybe she's his prize reporter and she's been injured and, but I don't know why they didn't make a story about that. I feel like they would now make a big story about her being the one reporting on crime and then that crime happened to her. And at no point is he trying to do that. He's sort of just trying to like berate her. Yeah. He's not the best boss. And a poor negotiator, we're going to find out later on too.
She shoves him out of the house. Danny's inspecting under the table looking for Mikey. Danny's dad is driving him to school. His dad is giving him crap for getting arrested. So Danny bails out of the car and heads to the subway to hit the Foot Clan hideout. And this place fucking rocks. Kids playing pool, smoking cigars, playing arcade games, flirting with chicks, skateboarding, dancing, playing music, spray painting, gambling. This is a goddamn youth group meetup, not a crime ring.
For sure. They wanted it's a free play, as long as they gather the stuff up. My question to you, Shawn, and I always ask these types of questions is, what is the Foot Clan's purpose?
The robbery, just robbing, and I'm sure they're profiting off of this somehow. But yeah, profiting to what?
How?
Well, by stealing all this merch, they're probably selling it on like the black market, I guess.
I guess, but they seem to keep so much of it. Shredder's looking at like 100 TVs, right? Like they're just stacked up. It's interesting. Like,
But like,
is it
what is Shredder's ultimate goal in the end?
maybe it's just to create chaos, right? Maybe it's
Joker did it,
not about money, but like then I wonder where he gets his money from too.
and his fancy equipment.
Yeah, it's a
Those
lot of
shoulder
weapons,
pads? Are you
fancy
kidding me? I
equipment.
want those shoulder pads.
Are there multiple bathrooms in this hideout?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just saying it's a lot of kids there, right?
And the first thing you think about is the bathrooms.
Well, like, is there a hierarchy? Like, hey, it's your day. You know, you worked retail, right? You would do
Yeah,
different jobs at closing, and there'd be some people who had to like clean the bathroom,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
I've been the
does,
bathroom guy. Yeah,
yeah, does that rotate in the in this Foot Clan army too?
funny.
Like,
You're
oh
cleaning the
man,
shitter.
I'm on bathroom duty this
Yeah,
week.
definitely one
But
of the lower Foot Clan members. Yeah.
I think they probably just want to create chaos. I don't feel they don't show us anything in this film that correlates to money. They could. They certainly could sell this, steal this stuff, and then sell it to other people that fence it or whatever they have to do. But I think is that what fence it? I don't know. Is that like a thing?
Look at
It
you.
sounds
You thug talk now.
yeah, thug talk. Maybe pawn it to be. I don't know. Is it covered for something? But maybe they do. I'd like to think it's just chaos because then that adds more weight to this relationship with Splinter and what we're going to see moving forward, right? It's just you're just ultimate bad and we're trying to be ultimate good and you got to have the dark side and the light side rise up to fight each other and it doesn't matter, right? Like nobody asks where they got all the money to build the Death Star. So
Or how many bathrooms the Death Star had.
it's got to have a lot. And it's got to and you know what, Sean, just as an aside, it's got to take forever when you're a stormtrooper to go to the bathroom.
Oh my god, take the whole there's gotta be just a removal of the crotchal piece. It can't be get out of the whole suit
I
to
don't know for
pee.
number one, but if you got to go number two,
I
like
mean, that's worth getting out of the suit for.
there's no hatch on the back. Like I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
We got our juvenile delinquent leader, played by a young Sam Rockwell, whose face you'd recognize from seeing in 100 other movies, but just can't put your finger on exactly what the hell movie you've seen him in, because that's exactly what happened to me. I'm like, I've seen this dude everywhere,
Yes.
but I don't know where the hell I've seen him from.
Did we look it up? Did you
I
look it up?
looked it up on IMDb, and it's all movies that I've like never seen before, but I've had to have because he's been in something that
Right.
I've seen. But it was in one of the Iron Man movies, which is probably what I've seen him in. But I know
I,
I've seen him in
I
like
think it was two. Was he in I think it
I
was
think
two.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's telling the new recruits, look, anything you need, we got it. Anything you want to do it. The kids ask for cigarettes, and he goes regular or menthol.
Oh, I don't care. Right. What did you smoke when you smoked, Sean?
No, I smoked 2 cigarettes in my life because my little buddy Crazy Mike used to smoke cigarettes, and
Crazy Mike, that was your friend's
yeah,
name?
yeah, he was
He was in
he
your
was this
gang?
little short dude. He was so wild, and I smoked 2 of his cigarettes, and it sucked. I hated it. Never smoked another cigarette again after that.
So I bought a pack of cigarettes because I thought it'd be cool to smoke cigarettes. And you know, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it at all. I felt like it was disgusting, but I paid for them. So so like I just smoked like the rest of the pack because
Gross.
I spent my money on them and I didn't have a lot of money at the time. And I never looked back. That just wasn't for me.
Disgusting. Hate it.
Yeah.
And like when you first smoke, you get like that nicotine rush. I didn't like it. Made me nauseous. Thought it was gross. I mean, I
Mhm.
know that goes away after a while, but like it wasn't for me. I was like, no way, no good. And I'm very thankful for that.
We don't get any smoking in this movie.
No, this is before like the smoke ban from the
But
offended
we don't get
parent
any. So
brigade. Yeah,
I think 70s and 80s movies are heavier on the smoking. I think now it's come back a little bit on some things.
well, now on
Um,
Netflix, before the movie starts, they warn you that there's smoking in scenes. To be careful, shade your children's eyes from the people smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, yeah. But meanwhile, I mean, kids now, you could just be like, they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's like this disgusting habit, and you can get cancer and die from it." Like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't want to do
Done. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
that.
In the back of this hideout, we see it's a recruiting center for the Foot Clan. See a bunch of kids working out, doing karate, kickboxing, exercising. Again, I'm saying this is a youth group help center and not a crime ring.
Hmm.
These are all very healthy activities they're engaging in. One of the kids is victorious in his fight, so our head of the Foot Clan, a scary bald fella named Tatsu, challenges the kid to a fight. He kicks him in his face when he bows. He pulls his blade on him and says, "Never lower your eyes to an enemy." "Yes, Master Tatsu." The gong hits and everyone jumps to attention. We get this awesome shot, a bright light, but we just see a shadow, a silhouette walking closer and closer. You could just see it, the outline of Shredder.
Oh, I thought it was Darth Vader.
Ah, well, get ready because he approaches looking absolutely badass. Silver cape, sick looking sharp helmet, the epitome of evil badass. So sick, so cool. He walks in, he looks at the group of youths. One bows in front of him. He puts a Foot Clan mask on him. He says, "Money cannot buy the honor which you have earned. Only effort, discipline, loyalty earn the right to wear the dragon doji. You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family. I am your father."
Yeah, that's a bit much for me at that point. Like, what you're doing
That's
with what
like
you're doing with the
that's
mask
like
on.
a robot Andy saying, "Get away from her, you bitch," in Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not the same universe, right? But yeah, that was a little that kind of pulled it into Spaceballs territory a little bit with that line.
He says, "I want you all to become members of the Foot. There is a new enemy, freaks of nature, who intervene with our business." And chained up in the back of a room with a bunch of boxes, we see Splinter. Shredder tells the kids, "You are my eyes and ears. Find them. Together we will punish these creatures. These turtles."
Yeah. So I definitely, the more I think about it, and when you say that, and you do such a great job in reading these lines too, like I'm
I
back into
love
the movie.
Shredder's delivery. He's
Yeah.
so good. He's so creepy. You can't lack on these. Yeah, yeah.
But I'll tell you, now I think about it more, and it's like, yes, they're just out to create mayhem. This is the original Project Mayhem right here, and they're just creating problems for people. And so there's a line that Snoke has in, I think it's in the last Star Wars Last Jedi. I'm pretty sure it's there, but he says darkness rises and the light to meet it. So I feel like that's kind of this, right? Like, this evil's happening and then something good's coming out to combat it. So um but yeah, I always feel like there has to be a way to fund all of this stuff. So maybe they're selling this stuff, and I don't know how the turtles get their money. They're stealing things, but we're setting a stage for an epic confrontation because we have these mutants, and we're going to find out more about this connection, and we're off to the races right now.
We hear a kid say, "Master," and Shredder quickly turns his attention towards the voice, and through the crowd approaches our young hooligan, Danny.
Oh, hate this kid, Danny.
You see,
Don't
he's
like
about
him.
to speak, but the camera cuts. But you know damn well this fool is about to rat them out and let Shredder
Mhm,
know, "I seen a turtle at April's, you little shit."
mhm. Yeah, no
April's
good,
on
Danny.
April's on TV talking to a woman about the Foot Clan, who once operated in Japan and are responsible for the current crime wave.
Mhm.
Then she starts dissing the police chief as her boss stands outside the studio looking visibly upset. Not even a second later, his phone rings and it's the chief, and he's pissed as hell.
Mhm.
Raphael is also pissed. He wants to know what they're supposed to do about Splinter missing. Him and Leo start arguing, so Mikey and Donatello hit the kitchen. Leo says they need to wait on April to find out more about the Foot Clan, and Raph gets pissed. "Oh, that's the plan from our great leader, huh? Just sit here on our butts." Leo says he never called himself the great leader. Raph says he acts like it sometimes. Leo says Raph acts like a jerk sometimes, and your attitude doesn't help anything. So Raph gets pissed and leaves.
Bickering teenagers. And we also have to have them kind of come apart so they can come back together again. Yep.
Not a dry eye in the house. He heads to the roof and starts doing some angry karate moves. Across on another building, we see Casey Jones futzing around with a radio, and he sees him. He recognizes Raph. Raph is sadly looking over the city, wondering where the hell Splinter is. And like a group of xenomorphs, we see the Foot Clan silently start to close in surrounding Raph. April comes home. Leo asks her if she got any info. She doesn't. She asks, where's Raphael? And smash! There's Raph on the rooftop, getting his ass kicked by the Foot Clan. He whoops a little ass himself, but more dudes just keep showing up. April gives the rest of the turtles a tour of the antique shop and the building she lives in. This is intertwined with shots of Raph on the roof getting his ass handed to him. Mikey quietly sneaks up behind Leo with these two gigantic symbols and crashes them together, scaring the crap out of Leo. April asks about Raph again, and Donatello says he'll probably be back any minute, and crash! Here comes Raph flying down through a window, got thrown through by the Foot Clan. In comes the Foot Clan, breaking every window, entering through every corner of the house that they can, and we get one of my favorite moments in movie history. First, hilariously, all these Foot Clan dudes break in, and Mikey's like, whoa, and I thought insurance dudes were pushy. Great line. And it's delivered flawlessly. Then one of the Foot members whips out his nunchucks and gets to chucking. Mike tightens his little bandana around his eyes and goes, oh, a fellow chucker, eh? As a child, this was everything to me. Mike reaches behind his shell, whips out his chucks, and he starts thrashing, and him and the Foot member are going back and forth in like a test of skill. Mikey wins by spinning his chucks on his finger like a basketball and goes, keep practicing. And Donatello launches from behind him, and they all start whooping ass, and the fight is on. Badass. Leo's like, one of these dudes got to know where Splinter is, so don't knock them all out. They do a great Wheel of Fortune spot where Donnie's spinning Mike on the floor with a shell, and Mikey's knocking out dudes in a tornado of fury. The Foot brings in weapons of their own, but these Foot Clan dudes are like stormtroopers because they can't hit shit.
No good. This has a very, like, to me, this has a very, like, Universal Studios stunt show feel to it. Like the guy in the costume and the bad people who can, like, never touch them. Yeah.
They're smashing everything with axes, and we get another one of my favorite lines. Donnie goes, good thing these guys aren't lumberjacks. And Mikey goes, the only thing safe in the forest would be the trees. It's so good. A bunch more Foot Clan dudes hop onto the antique shop, but the floor's too weak to hold them, and the turtles and the Foot go crashing through the floor. They turn around, and there's Tatsu with the rest of the Foot Clan. They attack. The fight continues. Mikey does the symbol spot again, smashing Foot Clan dudes in the head with the large symbols. In the middle of the melee, a door opens, and standing in the doorway with his goldie stick in hand and his badass mask on is Casey Jones, and he wants to know what's going on with his little green friend. He's also very attracted to April.
Yes.
Leo asks who he is, and Mikey says, Wayne Gretzky on steroids? Tatsu orders the Foot Clan to attack. The fight's back on. One of the Foot Clan's dudes accidentally cuts an electrical wire, starting this massive fire. April finds a trapdoor for them to escape. While Casey is kicking some ass, April's phone rings and her boss leaves a message on her machine telling her she's fired. Casey hears the message and he bails. Cops are on their way. Tatsu says, Ninja, vanish! And everyone bails from this flaming building. And across the way in another building, we see stupid Danny, who totally ratted out April and the turtles as he's watching this building burning to the ground, hopefully feeling bad about the decision he has made.
Yeah, these are the weakest ninjas. Like when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, I want to be a ninja," but these guys are not any good. I mean, Casey Jones, what training does he have? We find out later he can fight because of the sport he played, but like other than that, and he can certainly take a punch. But yeah, they don't take anyone out. They don't. Yeah, this is everyone's kind of unscathed.
And that, my friends,
Hmm.
I feel like is the perfect halfway point of one of my favorite movies of all time, and clearly yours too, in Madness Family, since you voted
Yep.
to Vertebrae's discontent that we
No, I'm having fun. This is a lot of fun.
cover this film. We still got another half to go. We got something special planned for the episode after that. And then
Mhm.
Vertebrae, I'm still patiently awaiting what our next movie is going to be. You also brought up Project Mayhem, which made me think, do I put Fight Club in our next voting poll? I mean, I'm just saying, is that something?
I mean, we'll get. I think we'd get to Fight
No,
Club, and we certainly got. I gotta have to reread that book. I've read it before. I have it here, so
maybe
that
we'll
gives
hold
me
off on it. Maybe we'll hold off.
extra homework. I'll probably try
We'll
to
see.
pick a movie that I don't have to read a whole book on. But I wanted to. I didn't get to mention it before. There was one little bit that I wanted to mention. So when they're doing the Japan, when they're doing the not Japan. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes and it said Japan. When they're doing the whole like pizza thing and they cut up the pizza
Mm.
and he says the Ginsu, he
Mm-hmm.
mentions Ginsu. Do you remember these famous Ginsu
The
knife
knives,
commercials?
yeah. They slice, they dice, they
Right.
make julienne fries, yeah.
Right. So in the notes, in my notes, that's why I had Japan. It says at the beginning of that commercial in Japan, a hand can be used as a knife and it shows it breaking wood. And it says, but that doesn't work for a tomato, so it has like the tomato with the hand under it, and then you need the ginsu. So Shawn, you can slice bread so thin that you almost see through it, right? And this famous commercial, there's a huge set. You get the knife, you get this fork, you get steak knives, and you get this spiral slicer. And they famously cut a can in the thing, and then they cut a tomato right afterwards. This set is guaranteed for 50 years and cost $9.95.
And we'll throw in
9.95.
an extra set for you and the family.
Yeah, well, that's what they had: the knife, the fork, the steak knives, and that spiral slicer for $9.95, guaranteed for 50 years.
So this movie came out 35 years ago. If you bought yourself a pair of Ginsu knives and you still got them, send me a Vertebrae a video of you cutting a can in half and then follow it up with a tomato, please.
I did not need cutlery when I was a kid, but I wanted that knife set so bad. So bad. I mean, I wanted to cut a can. Who didn't want to cut a can? Yeah. But anyway, I thought that was fun. The little Ginsu reference, those commercials were very prevalent. They were, you know, back in the day, they would just they repeat commercials now, but they repeat them more back then. There were less commercials, and you would get, if you were watching a whole bunch of certain shows in a row or whatever, they would just be on one after the other. These Ginsu, I can't tell you how many times I saw that commercial.
But don't own one. So apparently the
Don't own one.
product pushing
Well, I wasn't old enough.
or your family, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you needed like a credit card, right? This isn't like go buy it online. You needed to call a phone number with a credit card.
And wait on hold.
Yeah, yeah. Their operators were standing by. But
Uh-huh.
no, this has been a lot of fun to go through the
You
first
got your
half of
bits
this
in for
movie.
part one.
I do, and I'm excited for part two. Very excited.
I couldn't I there was no milking of the alpacas yet. I'm still waiting for like the milking of the alpacas moment. I feel like I know what it is, but it wasn't in this first part. I didn't want to shoehorn it in, but we are getting there. Thank you for joining us on the premiere podcast. We are on the socials at In Madness Pod. You can email us your thoughts about this movie or any of the movies we have covered, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. You can see Vertebrae Stale Pizza. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, hit the 5-star reviews. Check out the In Madness Spotify playlist, which we're going to put some type of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles music on. And make sure you tell everyone you know about this show and all the ridiculous ass movies that we cover. I feel like this one is the furthest outside of the realm of In Madness that we have reached. Would you agree?
I think so. I mean, it's the goofiest.
Yeah, I don't think we've done any movie like this so far in the past 2 years. So
Not for a full movie review. We certainly talked about other films, but yeah, I mean, you cannot deny the cultural impact of these little green guys, for sure.
If you dig what you hear, get yourself a shirt. InMadness.com. We got some awesome shirts. And with that, my friends, we will see you next week.